But I was just trying to. I've got some issues with my camera. It's got a capacity to so much stuff on this computer, but down the line, maybe the potential to tie into the one dog class or whatever. But maybe the first baby step is just to focus on the lumberjack. For instance, the sled dog tours in Alaska, it's a saturated market where almost every town, like a Skagway or Juneau or even a Denali, there's multiple ones, or Fairbanks, where the ecosystem, there's multiple businesses and they all compete. Whereas there's only the one lumberjack shows in Ketchikan. And I grew up in Maine. My grandparents are from up by Bangor, Maine, and that's half an hour, 40 minutes from where Acadia National Park is, and there's a lumberjack business that grew out of the same group that also is from Hayward, Wisconsin, which is sort of the birthplace of a lot of the sport in the States. And the woman went out there and she has a big business and a big show with the Gateway to Acadia. So this is sort of a parallel thing here. And it kind of connects to my heritage and my youth too, because my maternal grandfather, is still alive, but my maternal grandfather had been a postman, a mailman, and he had built a cabin, with his family, whatever. He had 8 kids, which was my dad's family. And, we talked about in a video podcast another instance about that. But, he had, for like $100 and $1, he had built this cabin in a little lake between Bangor and Acadia. And I haven't been back to it too much. I went back to it the 1 year I was back there and worked in Vermont for a winter. But just visited the place in the autumn. And there's so many ticks and Lyme disease down there. But, it was something we went to a lot as a kid, really connected to the nature and all this shit and the heritage, something they built themselves. Connecting to the nature as a kid, so I was very fortunate to have those things. But it really ties into, I think, a lot of our goals long term with the one dog class, which is sort of preserving the balanced relationship between humanity, mankind, and the earth. In a way that's not necessarily like the national parks, or not necessarily like and just the assortment of different sports, the BMX, the hikers, the people that are so like Outdoor Magazine, or like we're connecting with our one dog class vision again, yada yada yada, but more to aligning the physical fitness incentives, etc., with the environmental fitness, the cars, the emissions, and trying to build incentives for that with the national park, where your food comes from when you go into those experiences, etc. So I feel like it's a potent idea. We've struggled with getting traction, and I think a lot of it is economics. I'm not like a really well-positioned rich person. I haven't been. I've been focusing on music, and and I've been lucky that I'll be able to travel some the last couple of years, but I'm a little older now, and I do feel a wide array of jobs that I've worked in my 20s, I'm early 30s now. And we did spend a fair amount, like 5-6 summers in tourism, and I feel like I have enough expertise with a good team to execute on this lumberjack show, have it be real profitable, and have it be a stepping stone towards our goals with the one dog class, and with a better economy. Like I always look at the dog mushers, like at the Seabees, like I mentioned, Dallas and Anchorage, or they have so many tour business, or even a Terry Streeper in Port Nelson, British Columbia. He has a whole assortment of businesses, and through that strong, healthy economy, money is not an issue. So when they try to put on a local race, or when they try to travel to a race, or do have a big breeding program, XYZ things, they are strategically positioned to succeed in those goals. So, and that's something I think you can learn and apply for. You can criticize, and you can obviously look at the social implications of for someone who has a lot, someone who doesn't have a lot. But at some point, to actually even be able to host and organize a race that would bridge the distance between the people who have so much, the people who don't have enough, you really need to have some shit and have some connections. And it's not all social capital, it's not all this, that, and the other thing. A lot of it is cut and dry, black and white money, you know what I mean? And I appreciate that. So, but I'm not in, no one's in business. And I was talking to one of the dudes up at there in Fairbanks that doing the leasing or whatever, who has the the Department of Transportation guy. And I was like, it made me think of a used car dealer in Portland, Oregon, or Vancouver. I was talking a couple months ago. He was from a foreign country, and he sold me a car that had a active recall on the airbag, and I was like calling him up and being like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Because he was like, he didn't want to give me the money back for the car. It's like 10 grand, and he was like, I'm not in business for fun. And it really stuck with me, that statement. But I really had to get very aggressive to get my money back, and I ended up with a much better car in a little bit more window of time for a rental to secure it and to find it through the insurance. But long story short, we've got the severe back injury, and like this particular type of car with the Jetta and the seat, the other thing I had got through him with active recall on it. Fortunately, I determined that, but it was a Golf and had one of those bucket seats, and it was really uncomfortable with my injury. So it makes me think about business and shit, especially in light of potential for people getting hurt and potential for how communities and civilizations can get hurt by business. In terms of the ecosystems and the environment, by the big mining operations, but also how to even be able to be on the earth, not just in terms of eating and stuff. You need the economics, you need the development to some extent, and just looking at these kids here, they just look like faggots. You know what I mean? I'm here in Kinnick or whatever, and I've been up here too, and there's a lot of times these towns, they just don't reward not even just working out behaviors, but just like, why can't these kids be encouraged to be the entrepreneurs, to be go-getters, to do this, that, or the other thing? It's almost like a moment where it's like society sort of encourages this skater. It's not even just the skater culture, because I think there's skaters that are, I just feel like I don't want to be too hard, but it's like, just look at these kids, and it's like, I sort of been there at one point in my life where it's like, the towns and shit just don't honor the right behaviors, and you run into it in the States too, and it's like, you want to be real cognizant when you're trying to do a business. Did you grow up in high school there? Should you really be doing it? You know what I mean? Because you can see all the different interrelated relationships and the small and the big, and do it in a sensitive way. But on the other hand, it's like, do you want to have sex in the same bed that your parents or your grandparents had sex in? I was thinking about that camp that my grandfather built or whatever. There's also the moment where it's like, I don't want to fuck someone in my extended family on the East Coast. I'm going to go adventure. I'm going to go pursue that horizon. I'm going to go climb that mountain. I'm going to go paddle that river. I'm going to go try to start that business. I'm going to try to, see what's around the next corner. So I think that's a big thing here. Hey, buddy, come on, hero.